Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning, Kaka Silva. Hey. Oh, it's Leo from Discord. Thank you. Well, this should be fun. So, because let's see here. He was messaging me the other day, and it sounded like he was trading DAX. Yeah, are you from Europe? Anyways, I'm looking at this chart, man, and I'm not particularly happy about what I see. Uzi says, good morning. So, yesterday, well, how do we show this? What's the best way to look at this? Okay, perfect. So, big thing to keep in mind, and this is a perfect example. Oh my gosh, guys. The whole does technical analysis work business. Hey, what happened to my pen? Grr. R. My epic pen be missing. Oh, there it is. I found it. Oh, it's because of this one died. That's what happened. Okay. Bum 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 ba-dum. Okay, so do you see it? Yeah? Now, this is a perfect example of why technical analysis doesn't work, but you still have to know about it. Because there's two possibilities here. One is that this is going to break this neckline, and we're going to go goodish. And the other possibility, if I can, let's make it a little bit easier here. So one possibility is goodish, and the other possibility is goodish. Right, skadoosh. Yes. So the pattern doesn't really tell me the probability because it's not a complete pattern. But you know that everybody out there is looking at it. And certainly now that I've said it, everybody out there is looking at it. So do I have a probability? Can I sit here with say, there's a 60% chance that if I go long, then I'm going to get paid well here? I don't think I can. But what I can say is that I know what the two possibilities are, right? It's likely to go this way or this way, and so it kind of limits down the range of possibilities, so it's helpful that way, even though we can't directly trade off of it. So anyways, that's kind of what I see in the 10-year, and it seems like we have retraced most of this move from yesterday. I actually switched. If I had kept on my trade from yesterday, we would still be in profit. But something's certainly going on. There's some news. Donald Trump. I'm seeing headlines about Donald Trump. I'm not sure what happened. Anyways, E-mini. Oh gosh, did Ninja Trader died? I didn't like that big chart. Look at it going. Man, I don't know what's going on. The way it's going. So it's probably Brexit headlines. My guess, Brexit headlines. Something good, maybe? Two senior EU sources say the main stumbling block to a deal has been removed, with the DUP accepting the latest proposals on consent. Optimism, a deal can now be done. So they came out, they said maybe we've got a deal, and then everybody was skeptical about the deal, and now they're all happy about the deal. What a mess. Man, I don't know if I'm going to trade, if I'm going to take any, well, certainly not any live trades. I think, yesterday, well, we could maybe trade the E-mini. If we get something really positive in the E-mini, we could still trade that. The micros. But in ZN, I don't know, man. I don't know. And the funny thing is after all that, it didn't actually give me a good, yeah. I'm gonna have to kill Jigsaw. Oh, I'm sorry, Jigsaw, or not Jigsaw, Ninja Trader. I still got issues for some reason. Should go into the log and try and figure out what happened to there. Documents, Ninja Trader 8, log. 1016. Probably we want this one. No, I think we want this one. Have Ninja Trader connected to my AMP demo account. That's not right. Indicators, spread candles. Oh, it's mine. Add data series method only accepts valid instrument names. Oh. No, wait. Those two are just from it restarting. Oh, why does it want ZT1119? Well, which one is that? Which one is that? That's gonna be this one. Let me minimize this. Okay, well now the chart shows correctly. Well, everything's good. Everything's good. Do it. Don't be afraid. It's only money. Ugh. I only have so much money, Uzi. If you guys want to donate so that we can blow more money live, then I would appreciate it. But for now, we've got what we got, and I don't want to blow it all, especially since I know I tend to do better in December. Ugh. And after the past 3 trading days or so. But I'm also sitting here thinking, that was awfully stressful. Is Bitcoin dumping? I was not too happy with the way that should I say too happy? I mean, I kind of don't like Bitcoin. Oh, it is dumping. So when it sold off yesterday, I was kind of like, that's really negative. Now them continuing through. I thought that there must have been some sort of piece of news, but I don't see what it was. Uzi says, damn it, now I have to look too at Bitcoin. You see it right there. That's it. They're selling. I don't know who Tony Connolly is, but he was the one that reported that the Europeans were liking. Sterling definitely jumped there on that. Did I kill it again? So now that one right there, that it's being used by another process, that one shouldn't happen. You gotta be kidding me. Behave Jigsaw. Or why do I keep saying Jigsaw? Behave NinjaTrader. I think that my database is something screwed up. I don't think it's NinjaTrader's fault. I think it's my fault. Okay, Rand Squawk has this picture, live footage of the DUP after leaning towards accepting Johnson's proposal, and it shows a picture of a guy sleeping on money. And liquidity is gone. Yeah, and you know what? I told myself after that last disaster, holy shit. Well, you would buy that right there at 31.5. But I told myself that when the liquidity is that low, I'm not going to live trade it. That's what I told myself. I think I should stick with it. Holy crap, guys. Well, if you had traded it at 31.5, you would have you might have gotten stopped out, but low liquidity blows. We can trade it on a sim account though, guys. Buy that shit. We could get 01 right there. Oh, I don't know. Probably too late. I don't particularly like that one. They overdid it. So we gotta let it. Oh, now that one was retail sales. Retail sales, negative spot 3 versus spot 3. I think I need a new keyboard, guys. I keep getting like double key presses. I tried to take it apart to clean it, but there's something wrong. There's probably a piece of dust in one of the switches or something. I would have to really take it apart. Okay, so now I'm getting golden signal in the 10-year, which hasn't happened in a while. Wednesday. Core retail sales, negative spot 1 versus an expected spot 2. Retail sales, negative spot 3 versus an expected spot 3. They're kind of holding this area, but then there's the whole Brexit thing, so they could it totally should fall down. I'm wondering, I'm not really seeing big orders out there, which with the low liquidity, I guess is what you probably should expect. We do see 1,000 on there, so we could potentially put orders on now. The E-mini looks a little light, but it seems to be suggesting to me to buy it here. Man, so we already got 15 people. Everybody's bright and early today. Because normally we don't get this many people until the evening goes. But I'm wondering if everybody else is kind of like, hey, something's wrong. Maybe we should tune in and see what they're saying, because this seems a little crazy. It's a little crazy. Bank report good, decent earnings, new China trade concerns. I'm OL at tariff on, then off. You know, news tends to be good for trading, right? News tends to be good for trading. I tend to do pretty well in big moves because I can catch these big winners like yesterday. Unfortunately, yesterday I made a click mistake and I lost 6 ticks off of that. And so I still ended the day negative, even after that amazing win. But that, it turns out. But we've had so much news, and the type of news that we've had has been incredibly fickle. It's like one day there's a deal, and one day there's not a deal, and then there's a deal, but then it's not really the deal that they said it was, and clearly the politicians are trying to affect public sentiment. There's no question that Donald Trump tries to sell his deal as bigger than it is. What do you think is best to scalp when it's very volatile or when it's less noise? Well, so the 10-year Treasury, which is the one that I trade, is always the most liquid, even if there's news. Like you notice over here, we're putting 1,000 at every level. And on the E-mini, they're only putting like 50. So, and there's still some icebergs floating out there too, So, if you want a specific price to hold, which instrument do you think is more likely to try and hold it? Definitely the 10-year. But I think it's totally okay to trade when there's news. You've just got to be sure that the news isn't going to flip back in your face, right? Because what'll get, like, where is it? If we go back here a little bit. This whole thing down, right? And it flipped back up on us. That's no good. It did hold well, if you had taken it at 130, you could have gotten an okay winner off of it. But it sure fought it. And the 5-year is now suggesting that some people are taking profits. And there's also some iceberging there, so probably some profit taking there. But, sometimes let's just say that it's an economic release, right? And you get this big move and then it completely retraces, you don't want to get caught in those. And if you're trading that in the really fast action, it's going to go and then come back on you so fast, you're not going to be able to react. You don't want to trade that, right? And then you get this Brexit stuff where it's like, okay, you could be in a trade and you could be in a trade for 30 minutes and be doing really well and then just have it completely dashed out by some other news, And I think at the moment, the risk, let's say, the risk of more news is extremely high. The risk of more news is extremely high. And so in a situation like that, it's probably better to just be hands off and let them chill out, which sucks, but and I suppose that part of that depends on how big your account is and how much you're willing to risk. But for me, this could move 16 ticks at a time. I don't want to risk that. Posted the trend channel of the 10-year chart. Oh, yeah, I saw that. Well, you were saying yesterday, right? That was you yesterday, late in the evening. Let me find that. Right? Is that what you're talking about, where you're saying the 10 years staying in a great range? This pretty decent downtrend that we've had. At the moment, though, they still look pretty risk on. And the retail sales being negative is not good. We also get Beige Book today. Beige Book usually doesn't move the markets, but yeah, it's in your Discord under the interest rate. Yeah, that's the one. Oh yeah, so I didn't catch there. Oh, by the way, let's turn that. We can turn the reader on. Seb was saying you made a decent profit on gold. Do you ever trade GC? Nope. Way too thin of a product for me. I like them thick. I feel that when it's thick, it's a lot easier to see what's going on. Well, they have chilled out a little bit. They might turn down here. Turn down for a few at least.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset, extra THICC.
Yeah. Extra thick. Listen, guys. I know there's this whole thing about whether you're a boob guy or a butt guy or whatever. All I'm saying is there are advantages to thick, okay? Them girls that are, what is this thing? They have like a...
YouTube, Gary Rich, gold is hard to trade during NY session. It's best during Asian session, more liquidity.
Oh, really? There's more liquidity during the Asian session. That's interesting. I'm just saying, there's advantages to thick, okay? Those skinny girls, that thing that those girls they have in the magazine that look like they've never lifted something in their life. You don't want that.
Greg Orlovsky, DUP leader, says sources suggesting deal are talking nonsense.
What? Do I see that one on Twitter yet? Oh, that was 7 minutes ago. So that might have been one of the up moves. That would have been after the retail sales, though. Foster herself shoots down the rumors. Talks on Brexit continue. See why we're not trading this right now? Do you see? Do you see? Gosh. Well, they did turn down for a few ticks, right? You got 6 out of that one. Well, I think when I said it was at 3.5 though, huh? Huge UK poll on Brexit suggests Leave would win again. Comrade's poll of 20,000 people suggests that 54% of Brits favor honoring the 2016 referendum results.
Greg Orlovsky, sorry, talking about big gals.
Yeah, no, let's talk about big gals again. I'm just saying, when you get that skinny girl, listen, I'm not trying to be sexist here, okay? This relates back to markets. And this relates to if you're a lady too and you're picking a guy, or, you know, whatever your sexual orientation here is, okay? When you're picking a human that looks like they've never picked up something in their life, there's disadvantages to that, okay? They're not hardy. What do you got to do when you got to like build a chicken coop in the backyard, huh? How are you going to do that? Can't even pick up the 2x4. You don't want that. They can't help. It's no good. Pick somebody that can handle a little bit of hardship, okay? Well, there's advantages to being that you want somebody with some muscle on them, all right? I'm telling you guys, go work out, pump iron, do all
YouTube,
these
Gary
things.
Rich. If she is so thin and doesn't make a shadow, I'm just saying.
Right, exactly.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset. My wife can carry a bag of cement on her shoulder. Good enough for me, lol.
Right, and I want to be like into the body shaming thing because I understand that genetics plays a big part in this. Listen, I am a thin person. Look, my a lot of girls have thicker wrists than myself. Okay, I'm a skinny person, but you know, I put some effort in. I've got some pretty good legs. I do the Olympic weightlifting, kind of makes you athletic. You know, there are things that you can do, right? Just be in shape, guys. And that's all I'm saying is I don't want one of those little
Uzi
dainty
Knesset. Fucking spider hands over here, lol.
spider hands over here. Yeah. I should have been a piano player, man. You know what? People in high school told me that I looked like, even before I started balding, they said that I looked like Mr. Burns because of my hands. Yeah, it's pretty funny, to be honest. They're probably, I mean, even now that I'm bald, I definitely think of it. And I'm like, well, you know, and I love capitalism and I'm greedy. I mean, it wasn't. It was,
YouTube, Uzi Knesset. Peef ha ha ha.
it's pretty funny. While they might move higher here, I don't know.
YouTube, Gary Rich. If she can make a great meal, chop a tree, milk a goat or cow. I'm in LOL.
What? Oh, man. So if I ever told you this, I didn't come up with this. This is my mom's thing. Okay. So if anybody says that it's sexist, just tell them that a woman came up with it, right? My mom told me that there's the trifecta of womanhood, right? These are the three things that women are good at. Okay. There are cooking, cleaning, and being good looking. Okay. Now, when you're choosing a mate, just understand you only get to pick two of these attributes. That's, you know, and every guy wants a girl that's good looking. Generally speaking, you're gonna find you want one that's good looking. Okay. So then they're either going to cook or they're going to clean, but not both.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset. I'm on the fence about the day in ZP. Inside yesterday's range in value. I figured there'd be consolidation after yesterday, but I dunno here today.
Yeah. This doesn't look tradable to me. We're actually, are we inside of, oh, okay. I guess we're inside of value. I would say that it's even worse than that though, Uzi. I mean, look. Look at the profile. Where's my, see that spot? And that's where we're hanging out. So we're filling out the spot in yesterday that they didn't want to trade, and we're avoiding these. So the market doesn't actually know which way it's going to go, and they could totally turn back down again before figuring it out.
YouTube, Gary Rich. Hey, 1 out 3 is still 33%. Have a low bar and punch up.
1 out of 3. Well, listen, if they have 1 out of 3, listen, if you get the one that's good looking and all they are is good looking, they're probably really good looking. And you can do the cooking and cleaning, maybe. I don't know how I would. So here's the other thing. And I've learned this from the people at my gym. Cuz I have, you know, there's some really good really good weightlifters at our gym. So we have this one girl that she is like world champion several times over for masters weightlifter. Nobody comes even close to her now. And she had surgery and she's been out for like half a year and she's coming back and she's still pushing big numbers. And we have another girl that well, she's going to medical school right now, but when she was at university
YouTube, Uzi Knesset. My wife was a fast pitch softball player. Lol. After 15 years together we both done put on some weight, but she's lucky. She carries it very well. I have dad bod and no kids LMAO.
There you go. Well, anyways, there's another weightlifter that she broke the collegiate records. It was crazy when she did it because we knew that she could lift like so much above it that
YouTube,
she like
Sergio
started
Ortega.
at the record.
Hi from Colombia. Flexed biceps.
Hey, thank you. Anyways, so what have we learned? Well, weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting is a lot of time, especially if you travel all the way down to Sandy. It's like a 30-minute drive every day. Okay. And then when you're lifting after, when you insert talking to people and stretching and everything, it's like 2 hours. It's a lot of time. Okay. And we've determined that if you're in a relationship, only one of you can do it. Like only one of you can be good looking. That's what we've learned. You can't both do it. Now I would like to get some equipment at home, but even with your equipment at home, it's just too much time. Who's gonna cook and clean? So for that world champion, she gets a lot done as a mom too.
YouTube, Gary Rich. Hey, try dating a female MMA fighter or jiu-jitsu. Talk about ego getting checked.
Right. Well, it's kind of sucks. I've been doing this at this gym now for probably
YouTube, Uzi Knesset.
It's been a long time. 6 or more years, I think. And yeah, it's been about 6 years, I think. I think we started in 2012. So it's been about 6 years. And I'm old. I mean, I'm not super old, but I'm like 34 now. I think, right? 34. Yep, I'm 34 now. And once you hit 30, man, your ability to recover is significantly diminished. And your ability to build new muscle is significantly diminished after like 26. Really, if you really want to be good at weightlifting, you should start when you're like before 14. And then the sooner you start, the better your chances are. Like, even if you don't have a body geared towards it, you start weightlifting here at the age of 8 in the United States, automatically you can be a national competitor just because so many people start late. Okay.
YouTube, Peyuchos, you are old? I am 41 in December, grinning face.
Yeah, most of my viewers are a little bit older than me. Most of our viewership is between 35 and 45. Anyways, so I'm 35, and then we get these kids coming in like 19, 21. And yeah, there's some girls, they usually don't beat me in the squat. The squat is like the one thing that I've got. But yeah, they can do the Olympic lifts more than me. Some of them. And yeah, it kind of sucks, but I just have to look at it and it's like, yeah, but they're young. I started old and I'm not. Oh, why am I showing their charts? My body is just not adapted to weightlifting. Like I have a thin wrist. I kind of have lanky limbs.
YouTube, Gary Rich. Seth, if you're old, I'm a dinosaur and gonna become oil in the future, LOL. YouTube, Greg Orlovsky. Seth, tech. Ninja has a program for it to run as high priority on a computer. 1. Is that a good idea? 2. If so, is there a way to do this without the program? 3. Can it be done for Sierra?
Okay, so that's a really great question, actually. And the answer is yes, I think. So if I do, like your Control-Alt-Delete menu, I don't know if you see that. You don't see that. But if you go into the task manager, but you can also do Control-Shift-Escape, and that'll bring up the task manager. Okay, and then you can look at your tasks. So here's NinjaTrader, and if you right-click on it, you can Oh, did they change it? Properties. I think that somewhere in here, you can change the priority of it. Can we not change priority anymore? Switch to bring to front. You used to be able to change the priority of things here. Oh, well, there's a way in Windows. Let's see here. Windows 10 process priority. Switch it to the more details view. Aha. So where is it? NinjaTrader. Set priority. And you could set it above normal, high, real time. So, I think you probably could set it to have a higher priority. In this particular case, it probably wouldn't do anything. If anything, it's probably just going to make anything else that's running on your computer slower. But so you could do it for any application. But the only way to find out is to try it. I probably shouldn't do it because it would probably mess up the streaming. Probably you would get more missed frames. Well, I tell you what, now it's been in this area.
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky. Okay, thank you. I see the settings.
Cool. It's kind of formed a range here. It's saying bye at the VWAP, but it's still in really unclear area.
YouTube, Greg Orlovsky. Sorry to break the fun talk.
No, it's fine.
YouTube, Payuchos. In real time, you must have a rocket instead of PC.
Yeah. You know what? My PC's not that amazing. Not anymore. When I got it, and it was the Ryzen processors had just come out, and I did the 1900X, and it was fast. But AMD is pushing so fast. Oh my gosh, the processing power that these guys are putting out now.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset. If I set it to real-time priority, I could probably build a bonfire with my PC lol.
There you go. No, these processors that they put out this month with AMD are crazy. Crazy. Like orders of magnitude more processing power than what I've got. I don't know if it would make a difference for me, but I think if I was going to upgrade something right now, I would be
YouTube,
the
Payuchos,
video card.
AMD are GU'd.
Yeah. Well, they are right now. They struggled. It's been an interesting road because I remember after the 2008 crisis, I loved to play that stock. That was when I first started trading. That was one of the stocks that I had a lot of success with back when it was like $4 or whatever. Actually, $2, I think. It was $2. And that was like right after they bought ATI.
YouTube, Ace Trades, morning.
Good morning, Ace Trades. And I remember them going through like the whole their long-term strategy and everything. They're going to be focusing on more cores and specialized
YouTube,
cores.
Gary Rich, AMD has some really good chipsets. They are catching up to Intel.
Yeah. And then after they merged, it was like they didn't get any of the improvements. And now, after like 10 years, their plans are finally coming to fruition. And it's really paid off, and they have really caught up to Intel. Not only caught up to Intel, but they're just smashing them right now. So pretty interesting to watch. Yeah, so Ace, this market is a big mess, and it is probably not. We're sitting here and trying to distract ourselves because I'm too afraid to trade it right now. We just had, so when I got here, there was news that some Brexit news that pushed us down. And then we had the retail sales news, which was
YouTube,
not good.
Algo Lover, GM winking face.
Good morning, Algo Lover. So there was the retail sales news, which was very negative. And then we had news that the earlier news about Brexit was false. And there's probably more Brexit news to come. And so we're in an area where we are extremely likely to see large stop runs. And so I'm not putting any real risk on the table right now. And I'm also wondering here with Algo Lover, because we didn't get to his target. We didn't get to his target in the 10-year.
YouTube, Algo Lover, if ZN sellers sustain their offer below 130.085, then 129, 100 targets still valid nerd face.
See, I was thinking, to me, it looks like we're stuck. Like, to me, it looks like we're range bound and that we would probably need to adjust our rules, right? Like, I think it would be like we need to break on the downside 129.28.
YouTube, Ace Trades, got a short sitting at 2,991.25. YouTube, Peuchos from AMD. YouTube, Algo Lover, HAGD. Thumbs up.
Have a good day.
YouTube, Peuchos, I remember octa-core on my PC now when I see 12 cores on my friend PC OMG but with 18 cores and 36 threads is insane.
Some of these are like, yeah, like 16 plus cores. Like a lot of programs aren't even able to take advantage of that. But you know what they're doing now? It's getting interesting because the next set of improvements.
YouTube, Algo Lover, 8:17 a.m. Algo Lover, S if buyers maintain their bid above 2,983, then 3,012 target. If 2,983 breaks before trading up, then anticipate a deeper pullback nerd face for what it's worth. YouTube, Ace Trades, moved it up to 2,991.50 I'm in.
I'm still, I think I'm still too afraid to trade it. And I'm getting a buy signal in the E-mini. Or sorry, in the 10-year. Which coincides with it. So it actually looks like a really good trade. And I'm getting enough activity too. It looks like a really good trade.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset, no fear bro.
Yeah. I wait for his and no, we could still have news. That's the thing that. But I'm suspecting that if we do get news, well, there you go. That's no good. He did it at 50.
YouTube, Peuchos, I am waiting 2,900.
I think that little move up there probably might make it so that we don't get the signal. Well, anyways, we keep an eye on this. That's what I'm thinking right now. But anyways, the next set of improvements. So the next set of improvements is that oh, there you go.
YouTube, Gary Rich, keep trading your rules and plan. Expect any news to rock these skittish markets.
Yeah. Well, I could take it now, I think. Don't know how I feel about how it got here. I'm not really giving me a whole lot to go off of here. There's not a lot of volume there either. I'm not trading it. It's so dense. They're all quiet. 20 in line. It's starting to... Now they're playing this like, oh, Seth, we're not going to fill you. No, we're not. Better bid, better offer down. Anyways, so the next set of improvements in processors is going to be moving more features onto the actual chipset itself. So what they're finding is, for instance, they used to have like a north bridge and a south bridge. So like there'd be a processor, but then there would be like a separate chip on your motherboard somewhere that would handle a certain amount of input output type of processing. And what they're finding is that we've gotten to the point where things are so fast that the processor is basically waiting on your inputs. It's waiting for memory to do something. It's waiting for your actual video card to do something, or whatever the deal is. And so all of the improvements that you're really getting in computers right now are in making those connections faster. And the fastest way to do it...
YouTube Peuchos like SSD near HDD right now, you mean? An example.
Well, like the hard drives is like a great example, right? They weren't able to pull data out of the hard drive fast enough, so we moved over to solid state drives, and solid state drives pull them out faster. And then we even made like a cache so that it caches some of that information and it's really fast. But then when it pulls information off of a hard drive, it puts it into your memory. And then when it puts it into your memory, it will take it and it will put it onto these registers in your processor. And then it's where it can actually be used. And so it's all about getting that pathway between the processor and the hard drive as fast as possible. Okay. So that's why you're getting like faster PCI Express lanes, and they're removing the South Bridge and all of these things, because they're making all of those changes actually on the processor. So it could be in the future that you may just not buy a separate processor
YouTube
motherboard
Peuchos,
anymore.
right.
It may be that the processor and the motherboard come together, and you'll only be able to choose your memory and your hard drives. And maybe even at some point it might all just become so optimized that you just have to buy a single PC, and the whole like building things from separate components goes away, just because you get too much of a speed improvement from making everything proprietary. So it's interesting, and that's how they made the latest set of AMD processors so fast. So they got rid of some of those extra loops, and the speed improvements are insane. Like they had all of these, like ray tracing, the benchmarks and stuff that they were using to do processors, and this new processor just blazes through them so fast that the test isn't even useful.
YouTube Peuchos, I just need my phone to make money for a new processor, winking face.
There you go. You think deal gets big move? We're off 50 ticks and bund from news yesterday. I don't know, guys.
YouTube, Gary Rich. I look at the gamer PCs and decide a bit lower. Those can get bananas expensive.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I got filled. Didn't see. And it looks like I got an okay fill. So now if we can just get a short impulse, I'd be very happy. Well, the thing in gamer PCs is the video cards are usually much higher than anybody needs. I probably could use a new generation video card, though. I think that would probably get rid of some of the dropped frames.
YouTube Ace Trades. Seth, what market are you in? At what price? Direction?
No, I got in the micro. I got in the S&P 500 micros at 29.91.50 short. The Treasury is still kind of oscillating around and chopping up in a zone. So I don't know, that doesn't particularly help. But everything else about the trade matched up, right? Was ended up being a good spot. I mean, it was hard to get filled there. And I was getting increased activity through there. So it's a valid trade. Now I can probably keep a really short stop on this. You know, like 1 point.
YouTube Ace Trades. It's just not moving. Fingers crossed.
So many double key presses. Hit bigger, miss, still thinks the deal is done. Democrats debate whether billionaires should exist. Alligator says, in my opinion, DUP is trying to show they are tough for their supporters. Could be. Could be that they still go along with it. Well, Treasuries come back down again at 1/2, and I'm getting another spike. Well, markets sure aren't moving much at all now, are they? We kind of ended up getting in where basically the overnight point of control is.
YouTube, Ace Trades, I can't believe I got out of bed for this.
Right? So it's pretty slow. There is somebody selling it, but they look like they've got themselves stuck. But they're trading like 300s here on in the main contract. Cumulative delta does appear to be possibly fading. These over here, this I'm gonna take a sim trade right here. Yeah. It looks like the 10-year wants to move up, but the 5-year isn't going. They also appear to be reacting to upticks and downticks in ES. Got a positive uptick there with the bid at 01. So that's favorable. Ed Rogan announces he will not meet U.S. Vice President Mike Pence tomorrow to discuss ceasefire. Ed Rogan will only accept to speak directly with Trump. And that probably means that that's probably not going to happen.
YouTube, Ace Trades, watched an interesting video put out by Infinity. Patrick was saying how the micro should be used for hours-long trades to scoop up 15 to 20 points on multiple contracts with large stops. Interesting.
Yeah. I think that's totally a good way to use it. Is like if you were able to scalp before with the E-mini, then you should be able to swing with the micro. And if you have a good idea of where the market's going, I think that that's a great way of doing it. If you're willing to accept overnight risk and everything.
YouTube, Gary Rich, Brexit secretary, says if no deal reached by Saturday, Boris will ask for extension.
Really? So it's not going to be the end of October anymore? I gotta tell you, man, if they don't leave in October, I'm so fed up with the Brexit thing. It's been like a year now. Been 2 years since they voted for it. Ugh, what a mess. What a mess. Well, I thought because it was so slow.
YouTube, Uzi Knesset 3. YouTube, Gary Rich, LOL end of October.
It's been 3 years. I thought that it was being so slow that when I got that signal that I should just take it where it was, but they of course did end up pushing down 2 ticks anyways. And that's probably going to stop it out. It seems like somebody is pushing it down. Maybe I get lucky here. Hey, there's E-mini tick down. Let's just pull up our chart here, make sure we got a good idea of where things are. I really like this point of control at 2983.50. Okay.
YouTube, Gary Rich, Brexit is like a kid throwing a tantrum. Hey, stand in the corner and stare at the wall.
Maybe. Okay, so there was some good excursion. There's your 2 points. So now I'm wondering if I should try and hold it or not. I think there could be more. Why do I think that? Well, the level 2 activity in the equities is still relatively high.
YouTube, Ace Trades, move the rest to break even.
Okay. Treasuries still seem to be suggesting to me that that trade is still valid, even though it's gone 2 ticks against me. See, they want to tick back up at 05. Is the 5-year going to go along with it, though? This is the problem. The problem in trading the 10-year right now is it seems like the 5-year is in charge, and the 5-year doesn't give you any warning. It just ticks up or down. She's super sly. And where is Bitcoin at? Below 8,000 now. Well, thought it was a good uptick, but they didn't hold it. That's a little better. That's a lot better. Hmm. So you know what else? I did not watch the debate last night. I know. I just felt so exhausted after sitting and watching that trade forever, though.
YouTube, Gary Rich, the 90-day versus 10 years is coming down due to cuts and wink QE. This is semi-positive for equities and temp risk on.
That's probably true. Although, I think equities are reacting to other things, like they don't like that the retail sales was bad. They don't like that the Brexit deal might not happen. you know, the easy money QE thing only works for so long. If the economy is getting worse, then you still gotta sell it. And I think the Bulls had a decent run here in the ES. It's probably time for the Bears to have their say. That's why I like the short. But I would prefer that they give me more room so that I could hold it through the open. Treasuries trying to tick up. Having a hard time. It's not a particularly positive tick either. Historically accurate election model shows Trump likely to win re-election. Oh, they come back down there fast. Sucks.
YouTube, Gary Rich, the earnings are coming in okay. Tech has lead this rally and slowly will come to normality Q2 or 3 next
Are
year.
they really okay? I think we should be a little bit more specific about that, right?
YouTube, Ace Trades, cover with 1 tick for opening.
I think that the earnings have been not as bad as expected. I think would be more accurate. I don't think you could call these earnings good. Just not as bad as we thought. But I don't particularly, I don't know. I know that the market is certainly paying attention to earnings. Don't get me wrong. That's clearly one of the things that the equities buyers, all of the mutual funds are looking at. But to me, that's all past data, right? We're basically looking at all of the stuff that happened from, like June to September, I suppose. It's backward looking stuff, and we already have enough information from the other numbers that we received last week. Just like the retail sales number. Like, I knew that it wasn't going to be a good number because all of the other numbers were bad. And so you can just kind of, spitball it that the number is not going to be as good as expected. It's backward looking data. So to me, what we got on earnings right now is not as important as the economy going forward. And it seems to me that the most important thing for the economy going forward is whether or not markets have confidence in these deals going through, because businesses seem to be holding off, waiting to see what's going to happen. And we got the China deal and everybody was really positive about it, but I'm not so sure that people are making moves. Like, there's still skepticism
YouTube, Gary
about
Rich,
it.
many have began to cut labor, slow down on capex, and other balance sheet reorganization, but buybacks are keeping it afloat.
Yeah, well, there's a buyback. And we are actually in a period now where they can't do the buybacks, right? I believe.
YouTube, Ace Trades, 2 minutes.
Yeah. I think we want to cover it in the 2 minutes, right? I'll be a little sour if they just careen down on the open. Okay, cool.
YouTube, Gary Rich. Yes, we are on blackout.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not too, I don't know. I don't follow individual stocks very well these days. So that's beyond my ability. I'm not trying to say I think that the E-mini is positive or negative. I'm just saying at the very current moment, okay, there's a lot of there's been a lot of mess. Okay, we've been up. Some headlines have kind of come over and kind of undermined the market here. You could see some whippy action on the open, and I wouldn't be surprised if bears have their say. That's all. And I don't know, but we got our trade. I took a live trade and made $10. Yay! Okay, so there's the open. And I'm wrestling around with it a little bit before deciding that the first impulse is going to be down. So that probably we could have held, but now you take it off. Well, I don't know if I would never play it that way, but you know that there's going to be a counter move, right? So if you had held it, I would be nervous. Treasuries are starting to trade a little bit more volume down. Well, are they trading more volume down here? I don't know. They sure fell though, didn't they? When my spot failed, they just kind of went up. It'll be interesting. I'll be watching very closely a pullback in the 10-year.
YouTube, Ace Trades. Lock in 1 point and enjoy the ride.
I'm still not willing to put on that many contracts on it. We could move over to 2 contracts soon. See, this is interesting. The 5-year is getting something. And there's a tick on the uptick too. But where we're forming the volume is below where we formed the volume before at 630. When I look at the footprint chart, I can see there was a lot of volume going all the way up to that like 04 area at almost every price, and
YouTube,
it's buying
Ace
and
Trades.
selling is
I'm locking in
equal.
2 points plus a tick for commission and letting it go.
There's not a lot of imbalanced numbers, but then there was a lot of imbalanced numbers when we came down to 29. So it appears that the sellers were not deterred by that up move. So this is where I'm saying we should keep an eye on this, because ZN is moving up. So far it really feels like that the bears have more control over this. That could change quickly, but if we just go along with what the pressure has been, then we might get, 5-tick pullback and it just completely run out of steam. Hmm. Hmm. So that was not the way that I was talking about it. I mean, they made 4 ticks
YouTube
up.
ace trades out.
They made 4 ticks up, but then they got slammed down, and the E-mini came back up. Ace got out. So I'm guessing you got 2 points on most of your contracts. Or was it more than that? It actually might have been more than that because our price was like 92, so it was actually probably more like 4 or 5 4 points, huh? See, back into 29. But we have seen 28.5 here earlier. Yeah, we did. Down in here. Okay. Tusk, we will know in 7 to 8 hours when Brexit may happen. What? A Panera Bread employee spilled the chain's not so secret trade secret about its signature mac and cheese on TikTok? I've never had their mac and cheese. Is Panera Bread mac and cheese good? Let's read this. No, I don't want updates. In a quick clip filmed behind the counter, TikTok user Brianna Arlene, I can't read that, dips a
YouTube
frozen...
Uzi Knesset, it's okay. YouTube, Gary Rich. To be honest, since becoming a global macro person, I've gained a better understanding of these markets. It took a long time to do it and lots of reading.
Yeah, I think that, in the 10-year, I really think that the 10-year is the best instrument to learn with. Not only because the liquidity makes it an easier rate and it's less likely to go against you and you have to be patient and all of these sorts of things, but the information that you have to learn is going to be pertinent to every other instrument that you trade. You understand the market so much better. Anyways, where were we? In a quick clip filmed behind the counter, TikTok user dips a frozen pack of Panera's white cheddar mac and cheese into hot water, pulls it out, and empties the steaming bag into a bowl before she serves it. I don't, that's the secret. The meals are shipped frozen. That's not, you know what? I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed, guys. How do I make that, though? And I haven't tried it. Mac and cheese is just boil and bag, yeah. Okay, so look, they went lower. So he was looking for a short there, for sure. Okay, interesting.
YouTube, Gary Rich. Mac and cheese, oh classic dish.
I'm not quite sure what to make of that. Do you see all of those? I don't know if you guys can see the visitor chart very well, but do you see that order at 130 even, 29 half, and then on the downside 26, 25, 24, 23? There's been some recent changes Like that order at 130 in particular just showed up. The 5-year sure did sell again. So it sure seems like that, like I said earlier, the momentum still appears to be down. The 5-year, or sorry, the 30-year is about to break lows, isn't it? It's hard to take a spot though. I'm surprised that 4-tick pullback was the best that they gave it. I thought that they would have sat and given it a good look before it turned. Okay, so now there's a big bid showing up at 28 after that uptick. I want to play that. They're not going to film me. Look at how, well, that's interesting. So now the market is actually thickening up. Well, that looks like that was that may have been a flipper. Because the big order was at 28. It didn't trade 2,000 there. I don't know if that invalidates the trade or not.
YouTube, Gary Rich, have you noticed since we rallied number 25 cut this month being spewed all over the news, a 25 cut for sure in deck?
Well, do you think that they're going to cut this month? That's the one that I find interesting.
YouTube, Peucho's thinking face.
It seems to me, based on the economic data, that they have every piece of data that they need to justify a 25 basis point cut in October. And then, if things continue, they will probably have to do another cut in December, which would make 4 cuts this year. And the market is only pricing in 3 for the most part. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like, this trade failed
YouTube,
because,
Gary
again,
Rich,
it's a long.
Not really, they are doing QE like with repo.
Well, yeah. I don't know if that particular QE matters. You know what they were saying? I've seen this thing on Zero Hedge where they're like, they're making this big argument over, is it actually QE? I think the thing that matters here is what happens to the money that they're putting out there. That makes sense? If people are turning around and buying stocks with it, then yeah, it's QE. But if they're just holding it to fund their bank operations, then that's not the same thing. So the E-mini made a bit of a bull run there, and the Treasuries really reacted strongly to it.
YouTube, Gary Rich, I'm selling a spread on Eurodollar futures for deck expiry. Only thing that hurts me is a Fed hike.
Well, I doubt that they're gonna hike, are they? I mean, after all of this, that they're going to say, even if things start doing really well, they're going to say, well, we can just continue to be accommodative. I mean, until we're getting that 2% inflation, there's no reason for them to change the rate. Certainly the two that they did. Well, man.
YouTube, Gary Rich. Sorry, it's a option spread.
Yeah. It seems to me like the only way to make money in this market, in the treasuries rather, is to just ignore any buy signal that it gives you and take it short after that. Because they just keep selling it. And I'm just not so sure that the current picture is as such that they should be selling it that hard, you know? Like, I thought we were high before, but I feel like we've come back. You know, I feel like that we could have, you know, both ways action. And yet we're not. And we're here at 27, which is about that low area from yesterday. So the market kind of maybe is taking it. I think the same thing as what Alligator said, that they seem to think that the political parties are just messing around for their constituents, and that they're actually are going to do a deal. Those making over $200,000 a year comprise just over 5% of the nation's taxpayers.
YouTube, Ace Trades, another short signal 2,990.50.
Earn 32.3% of the income, but pay 46.7% of the taxes. And 70% of federal income taxes. Oh. In response to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez saying, tax the rich, and Senator Rand Paul says, we already do way more than anybody else. How about we just not tax people more? Anybody. I don't... The thing that irks me about the tax the rich thing is that they don't really, it's not really... How do I say this? In reality, it's not their money. I mean, like, it is their money, but it's not like they're out there spending it every day or something, right? Like, the reason that they have that much money is because it's in ownership of companies. Okay, so if you tax it, then you're taking value away from the company. Taking money away from the company, because they would have to divest themselves from the company. So every time that Ocasio-Cortez says, we need to tax the rich, what you really should be reading that as is, we should tax the stock market. Because that's what it is. That's what the net effect is people would have to sell stocks. You know what? That actually gets way more interesting. So
YouTube, Gary Rich, policy or policies has become or signaling accommodative to risk on or off.
I don't know. I mean, do you really think that is that risk on right now? Surely the tape surely suggests that. It's funny that as I've been buying it, that it's just going and going. The 30-year is suggesting another bounce. So it's like the same thing. It's like I'm stocking for a short and it never gives it to me. And then it gives me a long signal and I happen to take the long signal and it blows you out.
YouTube, Algo Lover, Seth, if market is in a short-term downtrend and begins to bounce, rally off a low, as it gathers steam or is peaking, your system may trigger a buy, cunt.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's like,
YouTube, algo lover, but you have to question whether you're being drawn into the trap before sellers reverse market for continuation lower, thinking face.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I didn't take it live, because I suspected that that was going to happen. But
YouTube, ace trades, that was rough. Got a couple of ticks is all. I think I'm done for the day.
oh, you took the one at 29.90. Okay. Well, yeah. The thing that's frustrating
YouTube,
to me
Gary
though,
Rich at ace yes yes.
the thing that's frustrating to me is that there's never overextension on the upside. That's the thing. If that's what I'm looking for a signal, then you're never going to get a short. You're never going to get it. Like if I get a bounce, I mean the thing is it's saying that the sell pressure is so strong that it's just going boom, 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 and they're never coming off the 4 ticks because the sellers
YouTube,
just want to
algo
sell that
lover,
much.
8:59 a.m. algo lover. If ZN sellers sustain their offer below 130.085, then 129, 100 target still valid. Nerd face.
That makes sense. The market makers can't. There's not enough market makers to make it bounce, or rather, it's doing it like it's overextension here for sure in the 30-year, for instance. Okay, we should come back 4 ticks. All of the market makers take their profits. It's not enough to make it move, and it's certainly never enough to create enough of a short-term trend to overextend on the upside and then flip that way. Okay, so we're never getting a spike on the upside, really, ever, right? Yeah, never on the upside. So, well, maybe that one, but that one was like way early. Brexit reporting has now descended
YouTube,
into
ace
journals
trades,
doing
now it
trivial
drops. Crap.
mental arithmetic.
YouTube, Gary Rich. So many times a signal generates, but so aware of the trap and suck it away.
But it's not a trap though. That's the thing. It's not a trap. This is where I'm getting at. It's not a trap. It's that the signal means something different in this context. Right? The signal in this context means that people are getting excited for more lower. And you're going to see it drop a few ticks, and then preferably you would see it suck back up. But if the trend down is that strong, then you're never going to get it. So then we would have to look at for signs of like a deeper reversal. Well, or maybe getting something. I mean, it's coming up, right? But now the thing that we'd have to keep an eye out for is like it come back to 29 and either start to see overextension up
YouTube,
there or
algo
it just
lover.
go
Somebody
completely
has to be
dead.
trapped for this casino to remain open. Face
Yeah.
with tears of joy.
Well, I suspect that it is the market makers. I mean, the thing that's been frustrating about it too is that I've taken some shorts and gotten chased out of them, right? But those shorts were never off of good signals. So, can't, you know. But just, you look at this, like, I would like to take it short, but I don't think I could
YouTube,
take that.
Gary Rich. When I watch the other levels bid, ask on the DOM, I wanna see liquidity build and see it hold. So many times I see spoofing.
Yeah. Like when they sell into it, then it turns out that there wasn't actually anything there. Well, and that was what, like, the long that we took earlier was totally a spoof, right? Totally a spoof. 28.5. Was it at 28.5? Well, that it was at 28.5 before makes me a little because now we're back there, back over there. So they did a spoof. They dropped it, and now it's reversing back up. They could still be trying to buy it. I also am seeing there's still
Gary
a
Rich,
lot
yes.
of
When you see so many times, it's not our imagination.
there's there's still this thing where they're following the E-mini though. So I don't. That might make our read in the 10-year less reliable, basically.
YouTube, Algo Lover, yes, now you are in the middle of the move, but the best entry was during Euro Open. Okay hand.
Yeah, probably. Well, and you know, if you wanted to go short, it would have been like up there at 04, 06, you know? We do have news. What is the news? I didn't realize there was another one. Wednesday. Business inventories month over month and NAHB housing in market index. Not typically huge movers, especially not for treasuries, but given the way the market is trading, probably should heed. But yeah, like the when it was a good short, it was all in that time period where it just wasn't safe to trade. So I'm guessing that well, how far do we have to go back? Kind of feels to me like a bunch of people went long on this move and got slaughtered. That's actually a pretty hefty move there when you look at it. But see, could you take a short at 28.5? Well, does seem like the interest has died out. But if they come back up here, they might. It's being tricky. I don't think that I have a good read in this area.
YouTube, Algo Lover, folks disregard the importance of this being a continuous market and only focus on their wake up times face with tears of joy.
There you go. I think that's one of the things that is particularly unique about treasuries is that you get multiple open and closed timeframes that matter, because the open of the extended range obviously matters, and then the regular session open matters. But then you also have to look at when the E-mini opens, when the pit closes, the treasury's options pit closes, and then the E-mini closes, and then the close of the regular session. Oh, and the European session close. So there's a ton of little time frames that you can look at that matter. Although for us, since we don't trade those closes, you know, I only have to worry about the ones that were the most recent. So like the European Open, which by the way, let's load those in now. Now that we're coming back up. So we went down to the opening range high and bounced off of it. Ooh. That would have been good to have known back earlier.
YouTube, Gary Rich, it's a revolving spinning door of open and closes, yeehaw.
Feel a little foolish not knowing that. But you're definitely getting it, like, this move up. It's like dead. Yeah, like the E-mini is selling. The E-mini might sell hard here, in fact. Would be interested if Ace got a short in this area, but I think he was done, wasn't he? I'm seeing. Well, it's already too late. I'm seeing that around 29.90 you could have taken a short. So if we're moving down, treasuries are moving up in sympathy, but the activity level is significantly less. So it's like the treasuries would very much rather sell. Well, there's an uptick. Look at the way the liquidity. Okay, so we got 15 seconds here. So that's pulling for this news. We're looking for a reading of spot 3 for the inventories and spot 6.8 for the housing index. Okay. So the housing market index, better than expected 71 versus an expected 68. Business inventories, 0 versus an expected spot 3. So the housing index being a better, that's good.
YouTube, algo lover, if you don't catch a peak whether short or long, which seems counterintuitive at the best entry times, then you are more likely to be stopped if it's tight.
Sure.
Okay hand.
Yeah. Well, it should be obvious to most of us that have been trading for a while, but I don't think that a lot of new traders make that connection that, hey, the further it's gone in this way, the better your risk reward is.
YouTube, Sergio Ortega, I'm short on the ZB at 160.02.
I wanted to think about getting short in this 29 area, but it's chopping around a little bit. You see there was a zipper and then they dropped down to 28 and then got shoved back into it. And now I suspect that they're going to try and shove them out the top side. And the E-mini is still kind of chopping down. Like they're eyeing that low. If the E-mini makes a low, I wonder if the treasuries will react, how they'll react to that. Okay. So a decent amount of volume trading at 29. Which was where there was a lot of volume before and the sellers eventually won out. So it might not even be.
YouTube, algo lover, S2983 line in sand for buyers to defend if they're taking us higher. If 83 goes, then they'll take back trend day nerd face.
I think so. When you said that the other day, or when you said that earlier, I looked at that price and I was like, well, that one looks suspiciously close. And this is where I begin to have trouble, right? Okay. clearly market has selling. It's really obvious in the footprint. In the footprint, you can really see that, hey, okay, up here, when we were buying, equal numbers on both sides. But then when we were selling, sellers way stronger. 9 versus
YouTube
7.
algo lover, gotta run. Watch him close face with rolling eyes.
Okay. Then we got down to here. There was actually a lot of buying at 27. So we're back up to here. So, and now we're at the same spot. It's not higher. So we may move higher, but I'm just saying the pressure has been sell, 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 sell. Okay, so we want to sell, preferably. Preferably, we would like to sell. Big problem. E-mini is eyeing lows. So does the E-mini go and hit the 29.83? And then that's the stop run, and then they're really going to buy the treasuries. So to me, a short doesn't make sense here. In fact, well, and here's another thing, is that they did remember that they came down to the opening range high and they hard bounced off of it. So now we could get a situation where, oh, and look at that. When they were pushing down, there was not a lot of interest.
YouTube, Gary Rich, can you see how that footprint chart can be a bracket long and short at the ranges?
I can see that here it was short and here it was long, but I don't see how I can do that when it's actually forming. Like when it was here at 29, like, should I buy that? I don't know if I can. I don't know if that makes sense. Sure, see that target at 130 even now. It's like, well, 29 would have been a great spot to buy, right? But again, it's because of ES.
YouTube, Gary Rich, not inside the range but outside of it.
Like which price?
YouTube, Gary Rich, look at it like a box or rectangle.
I'm not quite sure I understand what you're getting at. I mean, why don't you start with where would the signal have been? What would be the price that you should have bought based off of that? Hmm.
YouTube, Gary Rich, I can't your chart.
I can't. Which price do you think that we should have taken? Clearly, the best price would have been 26.5. And there was more than enough volume there for you to get filled. But my question is, when this is forming, how do you know that that's the one that you want to take? You know? And then here on the upside, because the bigger question is, okay, on the upside, clearly this This give you some sort of a, and once we came up here and we formed this right here, that was a big warning sign that we could go lower. Now that we're here though, and I got this price right here, which was the half, right? No, it's not. I want to clear. Oh yeah, it is 0.5. Like if we're looking for a short, I think that we would want to be looking here to see if we form another node here at 0.5 or higher. 5 years getting pushed, by the way. And the E-mini washed out all of that volume.
YouTube, Gary Rich. See how it hit the high and dropped? It lost momentum your first circle. If you took a short 50% below that range and wait for it, it came.
Yeah, that one is a little more clear. Because they're just not a whole lot of volume traded above where the point of control ended up being. You can see that. That one is maybe clear if you wanted to go for a short. But that one, that one doesn't matter to me so much because I wasn't going to take a trade in that area. There was just too much risk of news, right? Reading Twitter today, I'm noticing that there's not a whole lot of discussion about the Democrat primary last night. In fact, the biggest piece of news that I'm seeing is that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is endorsing Bernie Sanders, which is really curious. So they kind of held their punches, and then when it seemed like everybody was going for Warren, then they decided to back their guy, which I kind of suspected that she was going to endorse Sanders, but not this location, not at this time. It don't make sense to do it at this time. But if he's losing, well, what are you going to do? And yeah, I don't know. It's a weird setup, but people care about that more than anything that was said at the debate last night, which I don't think is a positive thing for the party. It seems to me like that the Democrat Party is not particularly energized by the ideas that the party is putting out right now.
YouTube, Gary Rich. I don't lean on the news that much, it does matter, but I have my orders in N out of ranges and let it come to me. I counter trend more of late.
So that was a strong move down. That was probably, we were stocking a short there. Is it too late now? I don't think maybe you would get filled at 29.5. I don't know. The way that it came out was a little too much. So there was volume all the way through this area, the 29, 28.5. So it would be awfully unusual for them to just push and go right through it. So that might be the trap.
YouTube, Gary Rich. It's hard to say the Amini ISNT moving much in percent terms.
No, it's not, is it? It's not moving a lot in volume terms either. 4,000 contracts, cumulative delta difference. Hmm. I think that kind of kills the chances of us getting anything before 8:30.
YouTube, Gary Rich. When it's very tight in percent terms and contract size, I can make too many mistakes, personally. I just know my weaknesses.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think that it's necessarily a weakness, Gary Rich. I think it's kind of more of a unfavorable market to the kind of trading that we do. And, you know, we tended to want to go ham in an area like that, and you just get shredded up. It's just like, I said, hey, it seems like it's really, really strong short. Okay, let's stock a short. But then we came up, okay, didn't give us overextension on the high. It didn't really give us anything. It was just kind of noise up there. Much lower volume on that bar. So it could turn back down again, but there is some liquidity they're going to have to plow through to do it. There's a lot of orders sitting down there, 27, 26, etc. You know, just I don't know if a trade here really makes sense. It may very well move down, and we'll be saying, "Oh, we missed it," but I really don't feel like I have a good read. The only read that I have is that the action for this session appears to be selling, and that it would be better to go short. And I can't even really pick a super great spot. Like there's that ledge on the profile at 29. It's like any spot that I see something, I can list like 5 different things for why that might not be the right thing, and I can't come up with anything that gives me a high enough probability to want to put my money at risk. It's disappointing. When I closed my trade yesterday, I said, well, they could have a pullback and then we could come back in and we could start selling it again. But this whole mess of action kind of makes me think that we can't read too much into today. Maybe later today we get some more headlines and then we break the range.
YouTube, Gary Rich. Many times I get a signal, but conditions change. I may not put on a trade and wait. I miss a lot afterwards looking back, but I try not to fight myself with temptation or would've should've think.
Sometimes I get a signal, but conditions change. May not put on a trade and wait. I miss a lot afterwards looking back. Yeah. Well, I like to go through that whole set of scenario because it kind of helps me.
YouTube, popularity matters. Just wait for Trump to have a tantrum on Twitter and add volatility.
Right. I like to go through it because I think it helps me figure out what the meta is right now. you know? So the question in my head is still, um, what's the right way to short this? If ignoring this, we ignore this and we say we only took a short after the E-mini. So really the only spot that I see that was a really okay short was this thing. So you would have had to have read that spoof as a sell, I guess, which I didn't. Shouldn't have taken it right away. I should have waited and seen them try and trade into it, and then would have seen that they went right through it, and I could have tried taking a short at 95, I suppose. So what did I buy? Oh, it wasn't even 95. It was 8.5. Huh. So it was after this. It was around here. Yuck. So you really actually only got like a few ticks out of it anyways. So it wasn't even really good short. And then the long, well, we got a long signal here. Very, very clear one in the 30-year. But it's been selling all day. How would I have known to take that? Well, opening range high. Bounce off the opening range high. That might have been it. I think that if I had seen the opening range high down there as well, I might have been a little bit more hesitant to have taken. Yeah, I would have said, we're going to take a long. If it's moving down and we're going to take a long, it would be a lot better to take it down at 26.5. Then maybe I might have sat around and done nothing and taken the long at 27. Especially since when you look at the candle, that's one thing that kind of irks me about that one, is that the candle was the footprint was pretty clear that there was a lot more buy volume at 27.
Rich, I agree. I look at the scenarios up and down. I do critique my trades at end of the week. My worksheets verify my rules and plan.
Yeah. A couple of ticks there. You know what, though, overall, I mean, I think I would have liked to have taken another sim trade, but I think overall this just doesn't seem to be the most favorable market towards the kind of spots that I like to take. It's just a little bit too news driven and illiquid for the places where I can see imbalance to really hold a lot of weight.
YouTube, popularity matters. As a scalper, I just want to know where accumulation and distribution are occurring. Where can I make 1, 2, 3, 4 tick market and quickly have price go my way? I'm more of an SNQ trader these days.
Well, if you're going to scalp the range, I feel like in the 10-year that you get too much competition from the robots to try and do that in the 10-year. So you're going to be taking one tick, and you're never going to get a good Q position. And if they break out of that range, you're going to lose a lot more, especially if there's slippage, and so your win percentage would have to be ridiculously high. So I'm not sure that strategy makes sense in the 10-year. I know some people that do off of one ticks, but that's slightly different setups.
YouTube, popularity matters. You need to do that in the ZB.
Yeah, well, I used to try and do that sort. I had some good setups in ZB that I had backtested and everything, but it was the same thing. It was like, man, the ZB just likes to run the stops. It's hard to find a spot that holds there. Anytime that I'm looking at the ZB and I think, okay, this is where it's
YouTube
going to
popularity matters. 10 years is a hard market to scalp.
I'm always 4 ticks off. That was what would happen. See, like it changed there at 30. So what would happen is I would say, okay, 30, it's come down here. 30 is the spot. 30 is where I want to take it long. And then they did this thing here where they went down to 25. I would get stopped out for the 4 ticks. And then it would go higher and I would say, see, I was right. That's what always happens to me in the 30 year. That's why I stopped trading it. Because I just could not see. Whereas in the 10 year, I can see it accurately to at least 2 ticks. And when my signal's working, when it's a favorable market, it's on a dime. It's chopping up here now. So that's definitely the end of looking for a trade here. Trump says U.S.-China trade deal probably won't be signed until he meets China's Xi in Chile. So is he talking to the press right now? Probably not. That might be why it's chopping around. Probably not a good time to be in a trade. Well, I would like to stick around and see it chop, but see if they do anything after that. But if Donald Trump is speaking, and I would like to get into work, good time today. So let's go and put the cryptocurrency charts. Still not seeing good reason for why cryptocurrencies move in the way that they are. I thought maybe there was news, but now it might not be, anything. Okay.
YouTube popularity matters. I wasn't going to trade today, but you convinced me. YouTube, I'm flying. Why not trade crypto?
Oh. I tell you why I'm flying, because it's a crapshoot. I've talked to some people that they look at order flow and a couple of things, and they can totally see some moves. I don't know if they have enough of a record for me to feel super confident about doing it, but the problem with that I've seen and that they run into is that sometimes it just goes crazy for no reason, and
YouTube
the stop runs over there.
Matters. My style takes too much focus, but I love it when I'm in a high mental zone, especially as an ADHD hyperfocus zombie.
Yeah. Me too. I haven't felt like I've gotten into anything lately that really grabs my focus. Hold on a second. Wednesday. Yeah, you know, for a while there, I was playing Overwatch, and I was getting into it. It was getting a little stale because of the meta. And then this whole China thing come out. And to me, it's not just like I just don't want to support somebody doing that, but to me it's also like, why bother getting good at a game when
YouTube
this
popularity matters.
company
Seth,
clearly
I think
doesn't
you would
get
be a
it.
great spread trader.
Maybe. You know, I could try it again. I haven't been doing many spread trades because the spreads haven't been telling me a whole lot lately. But anyways, I tell you what, I better go, guys. So I will talk to you tomorrow. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends.